Welcome back to my Star Wars Legends Expanded Universe chronological timeline rating, where I go through the expanded universe according to my personal timeline order, rank each and every individual piece of media on a 10-point scale. And today I have Kith Kark, or also The Tale of Kith Kark is what it can also be known as. This is a short story that was found in the Tales of the Jedi Companion, which was published by Weston Games in 1996 and was written by George R. Strayton. This story takes place at approximately 4010 BBY, but we don't know that for sure. It doesn't matter too much, but it takes place before the Tales of the Jedi comics. This story focuses on Kith Kark, who is a Gautal Jedi who appears in the Tales of the Jedi comics. This story describes his backstory and his origin and how he became a Jedi. We learn some interesting things about Kith Kark here. We learn that he doesn't like technology. We learn that he came from a somewhat rough upbringing, and he was on a remote world, on a backwater world, fighting, scrapping to survive, when he came across the Jedi and he was like, maybe this is my calling, maybe I have found what I am meant to do. And so he decides, I want to join the Jedi. So he goes to join the Jedi, and the Jedi that he goes to specifically request to train with them is a Jedi by the name of Maroon Jassa, and Maroon Jassa turns him down and says that he cannot come to be a Jedi. And Kith is very confused by this, and he gets angry about this. He's so confused why he'd be turned away. And that's because Maroon Jassa was, reading in the Force what Kith Kark wanted. And what Kith Kark wanted at the time was to be a Jedi for himself. It was a way out of his somewhat miserable life so that he could, find a bigger purpose. He was doing it for him. So Maroon Jassa turned him away. So Kith Kark went and reflected and was angry and dejected and confused. See, he could have become a Sith like Frida Nad. See, the Jedi are making mistakes left and right. They're almost making enemies for themselves, But, Maroon Jassa was right on this occasion, and luckily Kith Kark does not go over and become a Sith, because Kith Kark realizes his mistake and comes back to Antar 4 to meet with Maroon Jassa once more. And he says on this occasion, because he's been reflecting about it, I have come because the Force has called me, and I wish only to serve it. Because now he has learned that, I shouldn't try to be a Jedi for me, right? I should try to be a Jedi to serve the Force and the will of it and help others, right? And so Kith Kark has learned to be bigger than himself, and Maroon Jassa is like, yes, maybe you can come, but would it please you to become a Jedi Knight? And he's like, it does not matter what would please me. The Force is all that matters. So, he's speaking all the right answers right now, telling this Jedi Master all the right answers, and clearly he is accepted this time, and he begins his training and becomes a Jedi, but in the end of the story has him set up to where we see him first appear in the Tales of the Jedi comics. What did I think of this story? Of all of the Tales of the Jedi companion stories, I thought this one was a bit of a miss. I thought this was a bit generic. I didn't enjoy this one as much as some of the other stories. I feel like these Tales of the Jedi companion short stories are a bit hit or miss for me. I found this one to be a bit of a miss. It's a little generic. I had a little bit of a hard time caring about sort of character who is wants to be a Jedi for him, and then he reflects for a little while, goes back, says all the right things, and gets in. It's a fine story. I guess there's nothing too terrible about it. I just found it to be a bit generic, forgettable, predictable, perhaps, as well. So I wouldn't say this is one of the better ones that is in here. But, when there's so many, there's bound to be a couple that are good and a couple that aren't as good. Is there anything bad with it? There's nothing bad with it. There's just nothing particularly good about it, if that makes sense. That's why I will give this one a 2 to 2.5 out of 10. There's nothing grossly negligent about it, but there's at the same time nothing that warrants a higher rating for me. But if you would like to hear the story read for you, I recommend going and checking out Marcel Ryan the Revanchist, because on YouTube he has a reading of this story, an audio drama reading, complete with different voices for the different characters' dialogue and everything. So if you want to hear what the story is like, click the link in the description. I have the link to his channel. Well, not to his channel, to the video itself with this story being read. So make sure to go and check that out, and so that you can experience this story for yourself. With that being said, you can then return here and tell me what you thought of this story. Did you think that this story was as good as a 2 or a 2.5 out of 10? Or did you think it was better? Or did you think that it was, way worse? Let me know what you thought of The Tale of Kith Kark.